Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
Well, that breaking news this morning, former Nebraska State Senator Brett Lindstrom has announced his campaign for Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. The announcement comes after current Representative Don Bacon announced last week he would not be seeking re-election. Lindstrom joins a field that includes Omaha City Councilman Brinker Harding, Nebraska State Senator John Kavanaugh, and co-founder of Women Who Run Nebraska, Denise Powell.
More breaking news. We are following a person is in the hospital after a late night cutting. This happened near 17th and Nicholas around 11:15. Authorities say one person was taken to the hospital. Now, so far, no update about their conditions or any word about any arrests. But stay with us as we hopefully get some more details about this very soon. It is good to have you with us on this Monday morning as we start the day. I'm Erin Hartley.
I'm Cerise Cole, along with meteorologist Jared Lansford, senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord. In case you didn't get enough of the fireworks keeping you up overnight, we're going to have something else to keep us up overnight later tonight.
Yeah,
some storm.
Mother Nature's going to have a little fun with some fireworks of her own, I think. The threat for these have really increased over the last 12 to 24 hours, and it looks like a complex will be moving in after 9 o'clock tonight. That even if it does stay below severe limits, I still think it's going to pack a bit of a punch. So First Alert 6 weather day here for a line of storms that'll try to drop in after 9 o'clock today. The question is, how much strength does it have by the time it gets here? There could be some spotty storms even out ahead of it this morning and this afternoon. Probably not a big deal with those. It's the stuff after 9 o'clock that have some gusty winds with it, maybe some hail and a tornado risk as well. So that's something we'll watch for. Although the wind risk is the greatest as this moves in. Tornado risk very, very low, but it's not zero. And I think we could have a little bit of hail with a couple of these storms. Now, they will be weakening as they move in, but I still think they could pack a little punch with some wind and then have some heavy rain and a lot of lightning regardless and be fairly noteworthy as they're moving through and cover a good portion of the area. So you can kind of get how this gets going. The 3 out of 5 off to our west, this is likely where a lot of the storms develop. We'll get some more development up here probably during the day in South Dakota. And then we see how it all, for lack of a better word, kind of congeals and forms into a more organized storm system. And then it drops southeast and tries to hang on. And that's what we'll get here, a 1 out of 5 in our viewing area. I would not be surprised with the next update that comes here during the 7 o'clock hour if this 2 out of 5 area is expanded a little bit. But again, that doesn't really change the story for us. It's likely to be a complex of storms that brings with it the potential for severe weather later on tonight. There's been a couple of showers to the west that we've been watching here this morning, and this complex of clouds here could be just enough to fire off a few showers within it as well. That's why we just can't take out the risk of a little shower or two this morning entirely, and we'll keep some small chances in during the afternoon as well, as there could be a few spotty storms out ahead of the main batch. So 9 to 10, the odds for storms really pick up, and then they tail off probably after about 1 o'clock into the overnight hours. And I can show you how this plays out here. The scattered clouds around, imagine how the clouds kind of were yesterday. We had a lot of random puffy clouds around, and that may be the story during the day with 70s out there and a couple of those spotty showers trying to move in. Near 80 degrees by noon, and then the overall impact from these clouds, I still think we're going to be able to warm into the 80s today. And you can see a couple spotty showers, not exactly where they're going to be, but a couple of storms on the map, I think at any point during the day today, just can't be ruled out. 7, 8, 9 o'clock, you'll notice there's the organized line. Now, give or take an hour on this moving in, it tries to drop in from the northwest. There could be some wind with it. That's the primary threat. But even if those winds stay below severe limits, below that 60 mile per hour threshold, there's likely to be some 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. A lot of lightning and maybe some heavy rain with this as well. There's 10 o'clock, there's midnight, and there's 1 to 2 o'clock. Again, give or take an hour on this, but you kind of get how this is going to evolve, and this will bring us our threat for storms this evening and overnight. By early tomorrow morning, it should be pretty quiet. Temperatures down in the 60s, the vast majority of us. So not much rain before 9 o'clock. The bulk of the rain's after 9 o'clock tonight, and 1 to 3 inches with the best odds farther to the north, obviously where the storms are a little stronger, and then they weaken and probably produce less rain as they move southeast through. Then 86 on Tuesday. Clouds should move out pretty quickly on Tuesday. And then 88 by Wednesday with a couple of small chances of a shower or storm there. So again, it's something that's kind of increased. Probably didn't get a lot of attention over the weekend. Everybody wasn't paying attention. It's something, though, that one that we issued the first alert day for, because I think it's going to be pretty loud later on tonight.
And tonight isn't the only chance of rain potential that we have. This week also more chances.
Yeah, especially by the end of the week. Pretty small stuff here by Tuesday and Wednesday. I think late Wednesday and into Thursday, you get some better chances of some thunderstorms here. There could be a morning batch on Thursday to watch for, and then a little better chance on Friday as well, with scattered showers and some thunderstorms to watch for. Again, obviously this time of year, you got to watch out for severe weather with any of it. There'll be plenty of moisture, maybe a little jump in the muggy meter here by Friday too, to help bring in some storm energy. And then by Saturday and Sunday, hopefully we can drop that off a little bit and shave some of the humidity. But you look over the course of the week here, isolated thunderstorms. I would lean more towards morning on Thursday, maybe PM hours on Friday. Pretty quiet on Saturday. Right now, that's looking like the better of the 2 days over the weekend. A little cooler, a little more comfortable. 88 then on Sunday and up into the lower 90s. But hey, that gets us into the middle of July. No big heat waves to be found there. We've had a couple of 100-degree days. Those were back in June, and now we're just kind of about where we should be this time of year. Nothing crazy.
You said middle of July. I was like, oh, yeah, wow, just like that.
There you go.
All right, Jared's watching the roads for us this morning. There's a crash people should know about as they make their way back to work today.
Yeah, it's not the ideal way to start off as people are coming back from their 3-day weekend. It's 72nd Military where we've got this. So a lot of vehicles that do make their way through this intersection. And we've been seeing kind of some consistent slowing that's been showing up all around this area, particularly on 72nd. You can see northbound as you're approaching that intersection, southbound you've got the delays in place there. So watch for emergency crews that could be working this scene. And even up towards 72nd and Ames, you still have some delays that show up into this area. Of course, there's a lot of traffic in just a small area right around there. So I'll keep you posted with any details if we get any more information about this, but use some caution as you head into that area this morning. Other things I've been watching. Took a little bit longer than usual, but we're starting to get our delays on I-80 as you're heading westbound to the construction zone. So watch for that this morning. Don't forget about that after being off for a couple of days. And then it's fog is the other thing. And you can see much of the metro really starting to improve at this point. If you're just outside of the metro, though, you're seeing a little bit more of that being in place. Fremont, Wahoo, and especially you zoom out, you've just got these pockets where you have more of that concentrated and less visibility as a result. So watch the Shenandoah area. It's been pretty consistent right around there. You've just kind of got splatters of the white and gray colors indicating where that's fog is a little thicker this morning. Should be an issue for about the next hour or so, then we should start to improve on that. Picking up the traffic, you can see some of the yellows showing up. As you make your way northbound on 680, that's a new area that is starting to show some delays just north of the I-80 interchange. So keep an eye on that, keep you posted with the latest on what that's all about, and hopefully we can keep any issues to a minimum here as everyone's kind of getting back up and running today.
All right, Jared, thank you.
All right, an update to breaking news from last month. OPD says a second person has died after a crash that happened in South Omaha. OPD says a car left the road, hit a retaining wall, then caught fire. The driver, 22-year-old Edwin DeBon, died at the scene, and 24-year-old Lionel Martinez has since passed away from his injuries. A second passenger, a 15-year-old girl, was flown to an out-of-state burn unit.
Aaron, thank you. At the safety desk with Maria Kay. Maria has some information that coffee drinkers definitely want to know. This might change your morning routine, Maria.
Well, I guess let me ask you first.
Okay.
How do you take your coffee?
I drink tea, green tea.
Okay.
But if I do have coffee, it's not the good kind. It's flavored with
too.
all the things.
I always think back my great-grandma, my Italian great-grandma, she would never take her coffee without cream. So I grew up thinking you had to have cream with your coffee. But according to a new study, if you're like me or like you, I guess you might want to reconsider this, because this study found that there could be some benefits for drinking your coffee black.
Okay.
So a new study suggests that it could help you live longer. Researchers at Tufts University, they looked at more than 46,000 U.S. adults over a 10-year period, and they found that coffee drinkers who put a little or even no sugar or cream in their drinks, they had a lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. In fact, drinking black coffee was associated with a 14% lower risk of any form of death at all compared to people who didn't drink any. However, the study also showed that those benefits of drinking that black coffee, it went down when you added back in those sweeteners and those saturated fats. So like you said, something that we maybe all need to consider.
You have to drink it straight. That's no fun, though.
I know. I've never liked the taste.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe you can weave it in.
Yeah.
Alternate.
Yeah. Every other day, maybe.
Maria, thank you. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Time now 7:14 on this Monday morning. Nice shot overlooking the Midtown and the downtown areas as we begin the morning. Now, a first alert is a first alert weather day on this Monday. Not to the morning forecast, not to the afternoon forecast, but storm chances for tonight, Rusty.
Yeah, a lot of waiting and watching, and mostly it's after 9 o'clock tonight. A lot of the storms are going to develop outside of our area, and then we wait for them to kind of come together and move in our direction. So that's why the chances really jump up after about 9 o'clock this evening and into the overnight hours with about a 4-hour window. I think prime time for most of our areas 9 p.m. to about 1 a.m. with the best chances of storms, best chances of severe weather. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be not hot. We'll call it warm and muggy, I would say, and that's all the energy we need for the thunderstorms to use later on tonight. So that will be there as we go through the course of the day today. So it's muggy. First alert forecast takes us up to about 88 for the high today. Notice the small little chances of storms there. We just can't ever take it out of the forecast entirely today, but the best window is after 9 o'clock this evening. For mostly wind gusts, I think will be the main threat. 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts with the greatest severe threat here. Low risk of a tornado. Hail potential pretty low as well, but could have some near quarter size, maybe a little bit larger. Again, we're going to get an update here. This usually comes out during the 7 o'clock hour, and then there's another one closer to lunchtime as the forecast evolves and we get more model data. The severe weather risk area, greatest to the west, and then the storms try to hang on to some energy as they march southeast. So even if they drop below severe limits, I still think there's a pretty good likelihood we get storms in the area that will be noisy and noteworthy. There's clouds that try to produce some showers as we go through the course of the day today. And you see by 3 o'clock, even a couple of thunder showers on the map. Then another look at how this evolves from the northwest. Again, 8 o'clock would be the absolute earliest in our northern counties. I think it's probably closer to 9 before we really start to feel the impacts of this. Again, give or take an hour. This could pick up a little speed. It could be a little slower. I wouldn't be surprised by either one of those. And then that drops to the southeast over the course of the evening and during the overnight hours. By 2 o'clock, should be southeast and out of here. Some lingering showers into the very early morning hours of Tuesday with temperatures in the 60s. Rainfall potential. Greatest risk for the heavy rain is going to be in our northern counties, again, where the storms are stronger. As they march through, they're a little bit weaker. and a little bit weaker. Again, even if they drop below severe limits, I still think they're going to be pretty noteworthy sliding through the area with some 1 to 3 inch rain totals on the north half of our viewing area. There we go. Let's just jump to the 10-day forecast here. 86 on Tuesday with an early morning storm or shower possible there. The Wednesday into Thursday chances, late Wednesday into Thursday morning. And then by Friday, you got some scattered thunderstorms as well, with a high of about 90, probably being the top end this week. I think a lot of clouds and overall some cooler air. Still going to be plenty muggy, but at least no big heat waves.
Yeah, I'm looking at that forecast. It doesn't look too bad. You know, July, we traditionally heat things up. Should we be preparing for a heat wave of any kind anytime soon?
We're right smack dab in the middle of what's typically our hottest time of year. 88 degrees is the average high basically for the rest of the month. And no big heat waves. We're right up near 90 early next week. We'll see. Maybe that creeps up a little bit. But again, we've had some pretty hot numbers in June. Nothing yet in July. And the best odds for the heat stay parked to the west, the way things are looking as of right now, the outlook into the middle of the month. So that's what we'll be tracking. No big heat waves to be found. It's mostly about the storms tonight. And then we'll see what the storms later on in the week turn into.
Okay. All right, let's get another update on traffic this morning with Jarrett.
Yeah, keeping an eye on this situation at 72nd and Military with this crash, and we are getting some information from the scene. Here's what it looks like here as you are looking at the traffic flow. We actually have 1 lane travel on northbound 72nd. All other lanes blocked, so you can imagine that causing some delays in that area. You can see some of the delays here too. If you're trying to go southbound on 72nd and turn on to Military, that lane blocked as well. Getting this information in my ear as I'm talking here. So this is what you're looking at. This whole area going to be looking at some delays as continue to work that scene. So again, 1 lane travel northbound on 72nd. If you're going southbound, the turn lane to go onto Military there, the left turn lane blocked. So we'll continue to keep you posted with the latest on that as more information becomes available. Also need to first alert you to this. This is starting at 9 today. 42nd, which was already partially closed, will fully close between Emily and Dewey. This is right near the UNMC campus, and this is scheduled all the way through next summer. So this is a long-term impact that you're talking about with this area. A lot of people use this to try to get to the hospital here. So if you are trying to get there, your alternate route that you can use if you usually come in from the north, you use Saddle Creek, come in off of Emily, and then you can make your way there to your destination without too much of an issue. So continue to keep you posted with that 72nd Military crash as information comes in.
Yeah, appreciate the updates, Jared. Thank you. Well, 2 OPD officers are recovering after they were hurt while responding to a disturbance.
OPD says this started when the officers came across an accident near 30th and Parker. They were then taking a woman into custody when she allegedly punched an officer in the face and kicked a second in the face. We're told the man was also arrested for obstructing a peace officer. Well, coming up, we're checking out a positively thrilling race.
You don't want to miss it. Find out more when First Alert 6 streaming returns. Welcome back, everybody. You've heard of horse racing, but what about wiener dog racing?
Yeah, check out these canines partaking in the 7th annual Timber Rattlers dog race in Wisconsin. Oh, look at them. And they're off. Check them out. Yeah, I know. They took off full speed, went each and every possible way. Probably not the right one, though. As you can see, several dozen of them took part in this yearly competition. As for the hound that took home that grand prize, well, the chaos made it hard to get a clear winner. So no one really knows, but in our book, they all won.
Yes.
So did the spectators. That must have been
That was chaos.
They're just.
It was a little chaotic, but very cute. Cute chaos.
Oh my God. Do you think our dogs could do that?
No. Well,
No.
I think yours would just sit there.
yeah. But our bulldogs wouldn't go very far, trust me. Our walks maybe get a block.
mutually agree on a tie.
Yeah, that's what they would do. Without a doubt. They'd say, where are the treats?
I always love watching baby crawling races.
Me too. Yeah.
My parents put me in one when I was little. I didn't move. I just started smiling.
You just stayed and smiled. She still got that smile. Oh, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning here on First Alert 6. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your Monday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Monday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. It is a First Alert weather day on this Monday morning. We'll get right to that expected forecast with Rusty Lord.
Yeah, it's all about waiting to the evening hours tonight. There's some spotty storms possible this morning and again this afternoon. Those, though, probably won't amount to much. The main line after 9 o'clock is what will have the biggest impact, with gusty winds the main threat. Hail and a tornado possible, but lower on the list. I think it's mostly going to be loud thunderstorms with some wind. Hopefully we can keep most of these below severe limits. Even if we do, I still think there's a high likelihood of getting some thunderstorms moving through. So part of the reason we made it a First Alert weather day as well. But the wind is the greatest risk of the three main ones that we usually talk about. Muggy meter is going to be up there all day, giving energy that these thunderstorms would eventually use later on. So small chances this morning into the afternoon. By 9-10 o'clock, those odds go up. And then they drop off pretty quickly, probably after about 1 a.m., and that's the greatest window, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. for that severe weather risk where we could have some strong straight line wind moving through. Let's send it over to Jared now. He's tracking the latest on the crash on the north side of the city.
And we have a crew on the scene of this one. This is 72nd at Military, and you're looking at the scene right now. You can see that emergency crew still on hand. 72nd, you actually have one lane travel each direction at this time, and that's a very heavily used route. So first alert to the impacts there. Military, you can get through in good shape, but you are looking at 72nd with those impacts. You might want to consider a different route if you can. Otherwise, we are looking at eastbound I-80 entering that construction zone with some pretty sizable delays near 144th. Many other roads looking pretty good right now.
We're tracking some breaking news this morning. Former Nebraska State Senator Brett Lindstrom announcing his campaign for Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. The announcement coming after current Representative Don Bacon announced he would not be seeking re-election.
Well, it is 7:28. We are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.